everyone. I'm so thrilled about today's guest on my podcast. We're here with Olivia Landeau. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so happy that this worked out and that you're here. Olivia and I have known each other for a few years.
Yes.
She is the founder of The Clear Cut, which is an online natural diamond jewelry company that focuses specifically on bespoke engagement rings and really special pieces. And you started The Clear Cut in 2016 as an Instagram educational blog, which is so amazing that you went from there to here. So tell us a little bit about your origin story. It's 2016, you are a GIA trained diamond expert and gemologist, and you decide to write a blog, and then what happens next?
Well, so I had just come out of GIA. I also met my now husband and co-founder while I was at GIA. He had went to business school at Columbia, and a lot of his friends were wanting to get a diamond engagement ring, and they knew that he had connections to the industry. I at the time was working at a diamond wholesale company on 47th Street in the Diamond District, so he sent everyone to me. So I was just the go-to guy for all of his classmates and our friends. I'd help educate them on the 4 C's, the do's and the don'ts, and then help them pick their perfect diamond and create a custom ring. From working with all of our friends, I realized that most people didn't know the first thing about actually buying a diamond. So I decided to start The Clear Cut as just an educational blog for our friends and his classmates to read about all the things I was going to teach them, because I wanted them to have a little baseline knowledge before coming to work with me. And then I just started posting some of the designs on Instagram, and then people started following the account, asking if I could create their custom rings. So it turned into this accidental side hustle.
Which is so amazing. I love an organic origin story because it's really, you're fulfilling a need that exists.
Yeah, and I was kind of just looking for a creative outlet and a fun thing to do with, the knowledge I had.
I know you like all types of jewels and diamonds and pretty shiny things, but I understand that you have a specific passion for natural diamonds and a specific passion for the engagement journey.
Yes.
Why is that your favorite part of what you do?
Right. So at GIA, I grew up around diamonds and jewelry my whole life. Just to take it a step back, I'm 4th generation in the industry. My dad's side of the family were all diamond cutters and dealers, so it's kind of embedded in my blood. My parents had an antique jewelry business, so I really still have an affinity to unique old pieces too. But when I was at GIA, I really fell in love with the gemological miracle of diamonds specifically. A lot of the coursework, even in gemstones, was about how to identify synthetic from natural and all of the science behind it. So I found that really fascinating. And then my first job was at Tiffany on the engagement floor. And just to work with clients, see the excitement of that very special purchase that had so much more value than a beautiful piece. It represents so much more. It really drew me to the diamond and engagement space more than anything else.
What are the big trends that you've seen around engagement rings in the past 10 years since you've been doing this on your own?
I mean, it has changed so much in terms of a purchasing trend. When I first started, there was still so much of an element of one partner coming to pick something out with no guidance and creating something that was going to be a surprise, to now about 95% of our clients work as a couple together to pick out their diamond, create their setting, even both financially contribute to the ring. And there's so much research done and so much information that they have. I think it's because of the rise of social media. So that in terms of purchasing has changed a lot. I think in terms of trends, with the rise of lab-grown diamonds in the recent years, we've seen a big shift, at least in the natural space, to more unique natural diamonds, embracing old mine cuts, old European cuts, these antique cuts, more unique shapes like moguls or things that you just didn't see that often, and also embracing lower colors. In the past 2 years, we've seen a huge spike in diamonds that were K to O color, which we used to never sell. We used to only do colorless and near colorless, and now people are wanting a bit of warmth, a champagne tone, because they want that easy distinction that it is natural.
That's so interesting. It reminds me of some of the trends that you hear about with the dental community and veneers
Yes.
and teeth, where the shiny white chiclet artificial teeth of the 90s have given way to people actually don't want white teeth anymore. They want like a little bit of a yellowish natural color.
I think because if you can manufacture perfection and it's so accessible and you see it everywhere, it becomes a little less appealing.
I see that in my own work as a plastic surgeon because we no longer want the Instagram face. People
Yes.
want to preserve some minor imperfections in the interest of global facial attractiveness. And it's sort of the same idea where the naturalness has some cachet that is maybe sub-perfect, but is more beautiful because it's more rare.
And unique.
Yeah, and you can't just manufacture it and get a cookie cutter stamp.
Exactly.
Which is so super cool. I know you were recently acquired, so that's very big news.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the acquisition.
So we're really excited to join the Signet family under Blue Nile. We are going to take our technology that we built. So one thing that we had been working on for the past few years is our proprietary technology, our GEM software, which basically democratizes this private jewelry experience that customers have when they sit across the desk from, a diamond expert or jeweler, where they can have like their unique set of stones that are specifically curated for them and a handcrafted ring. Now that's something that we have been working on and perfecting because we have been doing it really unscalably and painfully for many, many years through DMs and emails and text messages. So during COVID, right before we invested a lot in building out this portal system and this platform. So that's something that we're really excited to implement this white glove service for new audience now too.
That's really amazing. Both of us have built brands in industries where the customer has historically been kept in the dark. Me in plastic surgery and skincare, and you in diamonds. And there is real power in being an expert who actually explains things and in that way democratizes access to information. So for you, I want to know, was the transparency and the educational journey a meaningful part of building your brand? And do you think that's why people are so devoted to your company?
I think it was everything for building our brand. The diamond industry has always been, cloaked in like opaqueness and like purposefully at an arm's distance from a customer. And there hasn't been a lot of transparency in terms of pricing, in terms of education, and that was intentional because you wanted to, get the most out of your customer. But I think as someone stepping in, a young person that had a fresh perspective, I was the client at the time, and my clients were my friends, and I wanted to make sure that they were super empowered in this big purchase that they were making, and they had all of the information that they needed at their fingertips. And that is kind of the ethos that took the whole brand to where it is now. And it's about, not gatekeeping and being super transparent and just arming our community with the education that they need, whether they go to us or go somewhere else, that they feel good about whatever purchase that they're making.
How are young people thinking about the planning around an engagement ring? I know that as the market has changed and there's access to so many different kinds of things, some of the old rules like 2 months salary, and what does that mean anymore? Do people still think about budgeting for an engagement ring in that way, or how does it work in terms of the commitment people make?
I think it's so different than it used to be because salaries are even different. People's like livelihoods and their careers are different. How much they put value into certain things are different. So I think it really is so personal, couple to couple. We have some couples that, really value the engagement ring and will put in so much more into that and say, we're gonna elope for our wedding, and that's not something that's important to us. And some people that don't value it as much as it used to, and they rather put that down to something else like equity in a home or a big fancy wedding. So I think it really is, it depends on the couple or the individual's relationship with like diamonds and jewelry. I think from a legacy perspective in their family, I think a lot of people who maybe grew up around treasuring that heirloom quality of diamonds or the emotional value behind the engagement ring put a little bit more financial value to it too.
Do you think that most engagement ring buyers these days have a combination of natural and lab-grown diamonds, or do you think people are really in one camp or the other?
I think that a lot of people who, will dabble in lab grown for fashion jewelry and more like on trend pieces may still want to invest in natural for their bridal jewelry, their engagement ring, their wedding bands, or maybe like investment pieces they want to pass down. I think that's probably, the most common split, or how I like to think about it. I think if you have a lab grown engagement ring, you're probably more open to having other types of lab grown jewelry too. But I think a lot of people, there is a split between lab and natural, and I think it's usually like bridal, sentimental, more heirloom pieces versus like more fashion pieces.
How do you hope the clear cut grows and changes with your new acquisition now that you're part of a larger family?
I hope that we can, have a greater impact and be able to service more clients on a global scale, be able to bring our process, our expertise, our technology, and our education to just a much larger audience.
Yeah, I feel like that's an amazing opportunity to scale.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back on the early days of your company, did you have any sense that you would be starting a company like this, or was that just something that surprised you?
It's a surprise. I never, early on in my career when I went to GIA, I never had the intention of starting my own business. It kind of just really organically happened. I always thought I couldn't handle the stress of having my own business or be able to like make those decisions, but I think, actually working with my now husband, we're a really good tag team. The skills that he has in terms of like business, finance, operations complement my skills in terms of like product, education, content. So I think I'm really lucky to have like found that balance, because to do it all yourself is really hard.
How has it been to work side by side with your spouse? In also, in some way, the business is like a baby that you have
Yes.
together.
It's our first child. Our actual human child is our second child. It's something that I never thought I would do, and I've kind of always said to myself that I would never go into business with like a partner, because my parents were in business together. It didn't really work out that well. So I'm really lucky. I think it's because we're so passionate about it, and we have like, I think it's romantic to build something together and have a shared like goal and vision. And like I said, we really respect the spaces that we're in, but we also have a lot of overlap and collaborate. So yeah, we talk about work all the time. It's not something that we like really separate out, but it is like fun and we enjoy it.
What was your own engagement ring story?
So my engagement ring, actually, I saw it for the first time when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
It is a ring that was in my mom's inventory. So it's an Art Deco ring from the 1920s. And I saw it and I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh, will you save that for me for my engagement ring? And she was like, no, your husband has to get you your engagement ring. But I guess she did put it aside for me. And when we were thinking about getting engaged, we had just started the business. We were just dating.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, hey, we've been together for 6 years, 6.5 years. We sell engagement rings. Like, when are we going to get engaged? So I guess he went to my mom and asked for permission. And when she was like, I set this aside. So when he proposed, it was really like a big surprise. And it was even more of a surprise that like it was that ring. I remembered it.
Oh my God, that's so cute. And you remembered it? You remembered
Yes,
it?
I remembered it. And because I had seen it around too. And I was like, always would joke about it. But, and it's also something, it's an Asher cut.
It's beautiful.
With a bezel frame around it. I would never have like designed this myself, but I love like that it's unique but also kind of timeless because it's been around for like 100 years.
That's so sweet. My youngest child is my 8-year-old daughter, and it's so cute to imagine her thinking about a ring right now, and then years later, decades later, getting
What was
it.
your engagement story?
I have a classic Tiffany solitaire, and when you were talking about working at Tiffany and seeing people go through that process, I mean, I got married in 2011, and so this was a long time ago, and this was a sort of classic Audrey Hepburn sort of. My husband's a very traditional classic guy, and I feel like that nice traditional beautiful ring is timeless and elegant,
It never goes out of
of style. And he proposed in Central Park. It was very cute. He asked my parents' permission in advance, and the whole thing was cute.
It's a classic New York
It's
wedding,
a classic
engagement.
classic New York engagement. Yeah, on a bench by the boat pond in Central Park.
I love
Super
that.
cute. We went out to Bellman's Bar to celebrate with a glass of champagne afterward, and then the rest is history. 6 kids.
Oh my god.
6 kids, and 15 years later.
I don't know how you do that. I have 1 kid. I'm like, I don't know how I can function.
That's how old is your child?
Almost 2.
Okay, that's a kind of a busy age. I feel like as they
6.
get older, they're much more manageable.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, mine are now 8 to 14, and so it's, it's definitely a different ball of wax, but they're so wonderful. In terms of thinking about what you see as future jewelry trends overall, not just diamond rings, but jewelry in general, why do you think jewelry is so special and sentimental? And second, what are the trends that you're predicting for the future of jewelry?
Well, I think that we're gonna see a lot of more jewelry that is more personalized and more crafted to the wearer. We're seeing already a lot of people incorporating more like charms that, kind of represent, what their life is about. Like I'm wearing a charm necklace that I designed for myself, all about like my son and like his signs and whatever.
That's cute.
He's like Year of the Dragon, so we have that. And I think a lot of more like, family crests or hidden details, things like that. And I think that plays into why is jewelry so sentimental. I think it's something that outlives you in a way. It's something that you can kind of pass from one generation to the next, that tells a story a lot of the times about you or your family or whoever is wearing it. And that is like a pretty unique and special thing in terms of like fashion or a piece that you can wear or adorn, something that you can put on every day and kind of becomes a part of you, unlike, a bag or a piece of clothing or something like that.
Yeah, jewelry is so physically close to the body that I think it also makes you feel more emotional about it. And it's almost like wearable art. We just, as humans, are so attracted to beauty. And it's there's something so compelling about wanting to own a little piece of it and to adorn yourself.
And just like your ring, there's like a story behind every piece, and it's like a conversation starter a lot of times. And also, I feel like it finishes like any look that you have.
Yeah. Are you excited about what's going to come with the new business model being part of this parent company?
Yeah, we're really excited about all of the opportunities and the scale that it allows, and I'm really excited to be able to have a larger audience and share the amazing story of natural diamonds with more people.
If you had any advice to a young entrepreneur listening to this podcast about how to start a business, things that you would do and not do, or lessons that you've learned along the way, what is a little bit of advice that you might give?
I would say one important tidbit is, really believe in yourself and stay true to those, know the hills that you want to die on and feel like really confident in your belief system. We decided that we were going to be only natural early on when everyone else decided to go into lab, and that was like our niche that we carved out. And it's something that was really true to like the brand. And that made us stand out and stand apart. Not necessarily going the other way is the wrong thing, but that was what created like our brand identity. And I think when you have a lot of competition or noise in your space, it's good to be able to identify like who you are, who is your community, who is your customer, and competition really helps define yourself and your brand. So like believe in yourself and your vision. I would say, it's really important to make mistakes, but like learn from your mistakes quickly. Like I don't want to make the same mistake twice, but I think in order to learn it and grow, it's okay. You're not going to be perfect, especially when you start your business. You want to try different things and then be able to react and adapt quickly. I think that's really important. It's an important lesson, and the more you use that, it's a muscle that you build, and you just get more and more like confident with yourself. and when problems arise, you are able to tackle them better.
I love that. Well, where can people find you and your beautiful diamonds?
You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at The Clear Cut and online at theclearcut.co.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This was so great chatting with you.
Thank you. Perfect. Oh, awesome.
Great.
So